Hello everyone, welcome to another live Voice Essentials Hangout. It is Monday the 16th of September 2019. So good to be spending this afternoon with you, which of course in many parts of the world as you're watching it is still your Sunday evening, for many of you quite late. I would be thinking. I hope you've had a great weekend. We had a great weekend here in the Robinson household because my daughter celebrated her 18th birthday, which is a bit crazy. I've been asked a number of times, do I now feel old? And no, actually, I don't. Which is kind of weird. Maybe I should feel ancient and old, but I don't. She's a delight, our daughter, our eldest, Caitlin, and so we had a gathering here on the weekend of her, a very just a small group of 10 or so of her girlfriends, and she had a great time. So we had a very busy, what was a very big weekend of yard work because we held the party here out the front of the studio here, and we had to do yard work and all that sort of stuff. So we've had a great weekend. I hope you are doing well wherever you are. And why don't you, I haven't asked you to do this for a while, but why don't you let us know where you are, what part of the world you are in, what time it is, what the weather's like. We've been having significant bushfires here in southeast Queensland, Australia, over the past couple of weeks. Really serious. We're super dry. We haven't had rain for, well, forever, and so everything's very dry. Our fire season has started very early, and so yeah, it's a very comfortable 28 degrees today, but nonetheless, it will be good for us to get a bit of rain. We would love some rain here in Brisbane, Australia. In fact, the good portions of the southeast of Queensland big chunks of Queensland could do with some rain. So yeah. Now I wanted to. We are going to do Q&A today. I know in the chat section, you guys have been asking for the last couple of weeks, when are we doing Q&A? When is Daniel going to answer my questions? Today is the day. I do apologize. As you know, 2 weeks ago, the computer crashed, and this is what I found to be the problem. Let me get down here. This is called a video card, and back in its day, this. Look at that thing. I mean, it's a beast, right? This is called a GTX 780, and in its day, this was the card to go to. Anyway, graphics cards, or what are otherwise known as GPUs, they run your screen for your computer, and mine died at the beginning of the live stream 2 weeks ago. That's why we didn't have our live hangout 2 weeks ago, because the computer crashed and that was it. It was all over. And then of course last week we had the most magnificent Jan van der Stoel. It was a pleasure to introduce you, this is very tongue-in-cheek, introduce you to the world's best singing teacher. I know some of you were a little bit confused by last week's hangout. I apologize for that. Well, no, I don't, because look, this world of singing teaching, we can, and learning to sing, it is all too easy to take ourselves a little bit too seriously. So I hope that last week's show went some way towards, I don't know, just having a bit of fun, and I enjoyed it. If no one else did, I did. I thought Jan was fabulous. I know how much Jan herself enjoyed the show. I got to talk with her afterwards, and she just thought it was thoroughly wonderful to be able to be exposed to my community here at Voice Essentials. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't seen it, you've really got to watch the show. It's a lot of laughs. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, did you know, and in fact, I've got this on the thumbnail for today's video, we have passed, actually nearly 5,000 subscribers ago, we passed a couple of weeks ago the 100,000th subscriber, and I have got a story to tell you about that. We will, I hope, to have the play button here soon. Of course, as you know, YouTube send out silver play buttons to channels that pass the 100,000 subscriber mark. Look, this is as much a recognition of us as it is of me, and the work that we're doing here together as a collective community. So I'm really looking forward to getting it here, showing you. But I wanted to tell you a really quick story because there was a really neat thing that happened around the 100,000th subscriber. In the morning of, because it happened on I think it happened on a Tuesday afternoon, about 3 weeks ago, and my son, I had told my family that we were approaching the 100,000 mark, and so my son, who is, about 14, going on 15, and who watches quite a bit of YouTube, as I think most 15-year-olds do, he was quite excited at the prospect that his dad would have a silver play button. Anywho, that afternoon when I went to pick him up from tennis, we only had 10 subscribers to go before we clicked over, and so he asked me when he hopped in the car, "Dad, have you clicked over?" And I said, "No, we've still got 10 to go." By the time we drove the 5 minutes from the tennis courts back to home, we had reached, I think, 999,997 or something. We were three subs off, and we're standing here in the studio, and suddenly Jayden goes, that's my son, goes, "Oh, I haven't subscribed." And I went, firstly, I didn't know whether to be insulted or surprised or whatever. Anyway, and he says, "I should subscribe." So anyway, he quickly runs down, grabs his laptop, brings it up. He's madly trying to log on to YouTube to trying to find the channel. And I'm refreshing meanwhile. And it's close. We got to 98, 99, and literally Jayden clicked the subscribe button. My son clicked the subscribe button on Dr. Dan's Voice Essentials. I refreshed, and boom, we hit the 100,000 subscribers. So Jayden, my son, is the 100,000th subscriber of Dr. Dan's Voice Essentials. It was not by design. We had the whole family. I've got 3 kids and my wife. We were all here in the studio when that happened. I don't know. It was just every subscriber. If you're a subscriber to the channel, which I dare say many of you are who watch the live show, you're all highly valued. But there was something really special about the fact that my own son is the 100,000th subscriber. That was, he'll never be the 100,000th subscriber again for anybody. And it was so uncanny that we were able to make that happen. But it was, for me, that was the cherry on the top. I just thought that was fantastic. So anyway, we've hit that mark. It's a real milestone for us as a community. As I said, that's 3 weeks ago-ish. 3 weeks ago tomorrow, and we're already up around 105,000. Excuse me, that's my smoothie for lunch. We're already up around the 105,000 subscribers now, which is just mind-boggling, and I'm really humbled by the fact that you guys love to follow along with what we're doing here at the channel where everybody sings. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? We're really tackling this notion that singing is for the elite, And it isn't. Singing is for everybody. It should be something that everyone feels the freedom to do without judgment or a sense of feeling inadequate. There may be some insecurities that go along with that, but you should never be afraid to use your voice in whatever capacity you feel that it will be. And we all have different levels of competency. We all have different levels of potential, but your potential or your capacity should not dictate whether you do or don't use your voice to sing, if that's what you want to. And that's what we're all about here. Very passionate about that message here at Voice Essentials. But of course, we also look to do that at a really high level, the highest that we all can. And that's why we look so significantly at things like technique and what have you. I'm just going to turn the aircon on here because I'm a bit warm. And that'll be because of my aging computer. It's pouring out heat. I don't think this baby is the last thing to die. Well, I hope. Anyway, I've got to buy a new computer. I've really pushed this one beyond what I think it's capable of. Hey, the other thing too, I just wanted to draw your attention to, a couple of weeks ago I launched a new big video. In fact, this is the longest instructional video I've ever done. It was on voice registration. If you would like to learn more about, head voice, chest voice, mix voice, then I really encourage you to watch the video on voice registration. It's one of the newest videos on the channel. It goes for 18 minutes, but I don't just explain to you about voice registration. I actually show you examples, and I give you exercises on how to develop registration and the transitions between those points, the head voice and chest voice. I go into it in quite a bit of detail. So I want to encourage you, please watch the video. Watch it beginning to end. Download the worksheet that comes with it. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, make sure you jump across and have a watch of that video. Once again, we spent some dollars on the animation, and I'm really hoping it serves you and really educates you a little bit more around the mechanical operation of your voice. A couple more things before we get into the Q&A today, and don't forget you can leave your Q&A, your questions in the live chat as we're going along. Linda's always there, ready to take down your questions and put them into the document for us. Hi there, Linda. Also, I want to just give a shout out, a hello to our other moderator, Karen at Singwise. If you love Voice Essentials here on my channel, then I know that you would love Karen's channel over at Singwise. Make sure you jump over, subscribe. And Karen, was I right in recently seeing you just recently clicked over into the 10,000 subscriber mark? Let me know in the chat section. I think I did see that. I hope I'm not being out of turn there. But if you did, congratulations, everyone. It is so hard to get to 1,000 subscribers, let alone 10,000 that is. So well done to you, Karen. Great job. Tomorrow night I will be in production again for Voice Essentials 3. As you know, we have Voice Essentials 1 exercise collection, Voice Essentials 2 exercise collection. We are rounding it out with Voice Essentials 3, and we're in the middle of production for that. This will mean that the Voice Essentials suite of exercises will be 50 exercises in total. So there's a lot of work there to be done. We are covering things like falsetto. We're going to have 2 harmony tracks on the exercise of Voice Essentials 3 collection. We're doing pitch accuracy, where I've added the melodic minor scale, the harmonic minor scale. There is so much in here that, and in fact, I got some new tracks through from Spiro, my producer, who's just doing a fantastic job again. The other thing, and I'm looking to release this in November. I'd hope to have it to you by October, but I think the realities of being busy is I think it's going to push out to November. I am also, at the same time, going to be releasing the lesson sheets alongside that release. So the lesson sheets, I have a lesson sheet that goes with every single exercise. Now, to date, you've only been able to access those lesson sheets if you're having individual lessons with me here in the studio or online. You've only been able to get the lesson sheets via the Voice Essentials 1 online course, which you can see moving along the bottom there. But that's only for Voice Essentials 1. What I'm doing is actually going to release all of them. Now, there will be a cost, but we're going to bundle it all up. I think we might end up calling it the Super Bundle because it will be Voice Essentials 1, 2, and 3, as well as the e-manual of Voice Essentials 1, 2, and 3 e-lesson sheets. They are all going to be there. So it's got further instruction, more information about what you're doing and what you're looking to achieve, more instruction. Keep an eye out for that. It's all going to, hit the internet in November, I hope. I'm pretty sure it'll be November because if we go past November, we're in December and Christmas is knocking on our door. What else do I want to tell you? Just a shout out to, I did notice last week, and I didn't get a chance because we were so engrossed in our conversation with Jan Vanderstoel that someone gave me a $5 super chat last week, and I just wanted to say thank you. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I wasn't able to respond to it in the moment, but hey, I just want to say thank you. Do you know what? I'm going to be putting all the super chat dollars that come through towards buying. I actually am going to buy a new computer. I've really pushed this old girl to the absolute limit of what it's capable of. It's a 5-year-old computer, and now with the live streaming that we do and the videos, it's time, evidenced by the fact that I've got dying bits. I am going to put all of my super chat monies that you guys are so kindly donating to the live chat. I will put it all towards the new build of the new computer in January. I'm hoping it'll be January. So if you want to donate to that, can I tell you it's no small cost to build a video editing tower, a PC tower. So if you'd like to contribute to that, know that you will be, and you'd like to do that via the super chat, you'll be contributing to a good cause because it'll enable me to keep going and hopefully in the future not have, our time together be cut short by dying components. Two final things. I just saw there was a thing that happened in Facebook, the Facebook community, a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to give it a mention. I want to remind everyone of the manner in which we engage with each other in the Facebook community. If you're not a part of the Voice Essentials community, then over on Facebook, it's a group. Just search Voice Essentials Community Group, and I think you'll find us. It's a closed group, so you do have to request to join, but we do accept everyone. But there may have been some offence taken by an individual who I believe chose to step away and no longer be a part of the community. And that's because I think we have to manage our expectations around what people do or don't say when we put up a video for review. Remembering that we are a supportive community, and I didn't see anything other than supportive comments. We're an encouraging community, and to be honest, when I read through the string, I didn't see anything other than encouragement. But the way that some of the comments were taken, they were taken to be personally, the person didn't respond well. And I think that may well be, and I could be wrong, but it may well be because the person's expectations around the level of their singing may have been higher than what it actually actually is currently. And that's okay. This is not a game of where we are not a group of elitists who are out to... Remember, this is a place where everybody sings. And so just make sure that even in our interaction in the chat section now and over in the community, let's continue to be kind. Let's continue to be gracious. Let's be magnanimous towards one another. But if you are uploading a video to the community and you're seeking feedback, be prepared that people are going to view your video through a different lens towards than what you view it. And so be prepared for... Sometimes there's a dissonance in what we may expect people to think. And so if you don't receive the feedback that is glowing and telling you that you're, amazing, then I encourage you, allow that to cultivate growth, and take a step back. Don't do your best. It's very hard not to take it personally, because this is the challenge of voice. We are our voice. It is so deeply connected to our psyche and our person. But equally, we do have to be very careful that we don't respond to people's genuine encouragement with negativity. Enough said about that. Talking of reviews, as you know, I've been wanting to get off the ground a live song review here on the live show. I am beside myself to announce that in a few weeks' time, I think in about 3 weeks' time, we are going to have our first live song review with one of our community. Many of you will know her from across in the Facebook community group. Her name is Kathy. She is going to be joining me in 2 or 3 weeks. And we are going to be essentially... It's almost going to be like a masterclass where we will have an online show where we're going to show one of Kathy's songs. She's pre-recorded a song. We'll have a watch of it together, all of us. And then I am going to workshop some things with Kathy technically. And so it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. And Kathy, if you're watching today's live hangout, good on you. It takes extreme courage to be the first. And I'm hoping it will be the first of many. If you would like to have your song reviewed live on the show, then make sure you email me via the links below. Just email me singing@djarts.com.au and I will send you all the information. I'm hoping to have 2 or 3 of them before Christmas. So really excited about that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and which will be great. And on that point, just so you know, there's no live hangout next week. It's midterm break next week here in Brisbane. So no live hangout next week. I'll be doing pre-record videos and everything for us here on the channel. Just wanted to let you know. Do you know what? I think that's enough. I've just spent 25 minutes talking, admin stuff, but it's stuff that you all need to know as a community. We are a collective. This is not just, I need to tell you this stuff. Otherwise, we can kind of get, left. It all get left behind. Anywho, we are going to go to some Q&A. I'm looking forward to answering your questions to the best of my ability, and we'll be back right after this. Okay, let me come down here and see if we've got any new questions. Oh, St. George official channel, the one new. Oh, Karen has 11.4 thousand subscribers, 11,000 subscribers. Good on you, Karen. Awesome. A channel well worth the watch, everyone. And so that is fantastic. St. George official channel has asked, can you get Ken Tamplin on as one of your live stream guests. At this stage, I don't have any plans to St. George. I think Ken and I maybe perhaps dance to the beat of a different drum would be my, and I say that with respect. He's got a massive channel, bigger channel than I do. There's a lot of people that have really benefited from, would say that they've benefited from his instruction. But as you know, I do my best to bring you some really fabulous people here on the channel. And many of them are people that are not on YouTube. They are, yes, I have had other people on the channel. For example, Karen has been on with us, and Karen's got, as I said, a YouTube channel. But what I'm trying to do here is really expose you to really, people who don't actually have time to have a YouTube channel because they are working at the absolute elite, within the elite spaces internationally. So, for example, the next time we come together, I think it'll be in 2 weeks. If it's not in 2 weeks, it'll be in 3 weeks. I've got a guy by the name of Jeff Ramsey coming onto the show. Now, Jeff is a professor at Berkeley Music. Berkeley Music is one of, if not the leading voice music educational spaces on the planet. This is the level of people that I feel so humbled to be able to bring to you and expose you to. Yeah, these people don't have, hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube. That's because they're too busy churning out some of the world's best singers to have a YouTube channel. So I hope you'll tune in when we do have Jeff on. But that kind of gives you some insight into what I'm trying to do with our guests. For the most part, my guests are people who are of that, elite status of teacher in voice. So that might answer your question, St. George. Ali here is asking, hi, Dr. Dan. Thanks for your valuable content. I will be sleeping. Oh, this is from last week, I should say, from when Jan Vanderstoel, international music therapist, was with us. Ali asked, Brogan, how can I avoid getting a sore throat after singing challenging stuff or talking too much? So it all comes down to getting a sore throat is indicative, it can be indicative of a variety of different things. More often than not is because we're not necessarily using our voice in the most efficient mechanical way. And this is why technique is so important. Teaching the voice to work in more efficient modes takes time. There are no shortcuts. One day, I doubt it'll be in my lifetime, but maybe in the future we'll have a world of human 2.0 where if you want to learn to sing rock, you just download it into a Google chip in your brain and boom, you can sing rock to the absolute best standard. Right now, we don't have that. You actually have to go through the arduous process, what I think is a very rewarding process of developing the technique. And so if it's challenging stuff, then I expect that you're probably, singing at the extremes of your range, with heightened dynamics, loud singing. And then when it comes to talking too much, well, it is true. Some of us do talk too much. I always feel like I get to the end of these 1 hour hangouts with you all and I feel like, dear me, there is only one person talking here, but anyway, that's the whole point, I guess. Talking too much, well, you can mitigate that by not talking too much. That would be the first thing. But of course, being mindful of talking too much is really about again, learning better efficiency in how you talk, and that is not my direct job. I would be encouraging you to go and see a speech and language pathologist. Here in Australia, we just call them speech pathologists, and you can do some fantastic work in how you operate your voice for more efficient speech, Ali. Bear 001 says, "Hi, Dr. Dan. I was just wondering what are some simple exercises I can do daily to make me sing better?" Well, let's jump over here. I wonder if this will be a handy thing to do. Let's jump over here. Some things to help you sing better would be, oh, hang on a second, I'm not going to be able to see myself if I do that. Can I just do this? Hang on don't you love live shows? Live shows, fantastic. So, what we can do with doing some live, some things you can do every day. Look, I'm a great believer in semi-occluded activities. So you can do lip bubbles, which we'll come to in a second. But often when I'm wanting to prepare my voice and get my voice ready for the day, in the shower, I will just do some light humming, just over a very simple 5-note scale, exactly the same 5-note scale that you would find on Voice Essentials 1 exercise collection. So it would go something like this. Now, as I'm doing that, my jaw, there's no tension in my jaw. I'm sitting in the very middle of my range. It's not too low, it's not too high. I've got a good buzz behind my lips. My tongue is sitting forward, placed in behind my bottom front teeth. And back down. And so we're placing it very much into the mask. In fact, a funny thing, Voice Essentials 1 course, the online course, was recently reviewed. It received a really positive review by a gentleman by the name of Rex Wee. I think he's in Taiwan. Anyway, wherever he is, thank you, Rex, for such a positive review. Rex did make a really interesting comment, which now that I'm thinking about it, I'll make a response to. He suggested that I come from the school of forward placement or something. I forget exactly how he said it. I don't know that there is a school of forward placement. Forward placement is very much an aspect of good contemporary vocal, good classical vocal for that matter. It forms an attribute, if you will. I don't think we can suggest that there's a method as a whole, but certainly I do advocate for forward placement for the majority of our sounds. There are times when a back room, as Ken Bozeman puts it, a backroom sound can be quite stylistically appropriate, but that's going to be not the norm. For good healthy voice, for what we're talking about with Bear 001, we're talking about getting the voice up and forward and placing it forward. And then what I might do is some NGs. I might go to some sing, 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 sing. So you can see me just keeping the voice. Again, the NG is going to be quite forward. It's also quite semi-occluded. The is semi-occluded. The NG is semi-occluded. So there's a narrowing of the vocal tract. It's changing the acoustic quality of the vocal tract to hopefully create balance into the sound. And then what I might do is do some lip bubbles. And you can do, lip bubbles can be used in a range of ways. But in the shower, I usually use my fingers because I've got very thin Caucasian lips. And if you've got fuller lips than I do, fantastic. You may not need to use your fingers to support your thin, I have to support my thin lips. So it goes. So I might do some of that, and I might take it up just above an octave and come back. And then I might also do some sirens. I like to do sirens once I really feel warmth within the voice. I don't like to fully stretch my voice out until over a siren, until my voice is feeling really comfortable. We could do it again on a lip bubble. Equally, you can do it on tongue trill. We could do it on a hum. Or on an NG. Sing. And in fact, they are the same four sounds that I do my sirens on in exercise 19, which is the first track on Voice Essentials 2 exercise collection. Many of you already have these tracks. If you don't, you can download them via the links in the description section below this video. Bear001, I hope that is helpful to you. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to jump down to Rails Isla. So the ENT couldn't tell me why I have vocal fatigue or the dry spot. My ideas, any ideas why? I do have a deviated septum. Could this be why my higher register sounds nasally? The deviated septum, really, for me to make a true answer to that, we would have to have a map of your, an MRI scan of your skeletal structure back there. But your higher register sounds nasally. Generally, higher register sounds nasality will come because the soft palate wants to hang quite low and direct a lot of sound through your nasal cavity. Rails, so that may not be. The NT couldn't tell me why I have vocal fatigue or the dry spot. I don't know what you mean by dry spot, and because this is from last week, I don't know that I can answer that any better. I'm going to move on. Rails, if you're in today's Hangout, leave a question and qualify the question if you can, and I'll see if I can answer it. Okay, Lion of Judah. Oh, Linda's saying that she thinks Lion of Judah might be St. George again. If you have to choose one or the other with no possibility of having both, okay, would you rather have straight tone all the time or vibrato all the time? As a contemporary vocalist, you are right, Lion of Judah. I would prefer to have the choice of both. But if I was made to choose, oh gee. You see, a little bit of history. Back in the sort of into the 80s and 90s, what we were teaching contemporary singers was to have no vibrato. And I became increasingly uncomfortable with that teaching approach sort of into the mid-2000s. And the reason why is because we were starting to hear more and more contemporary singers whose vibrato, in some respects their tremolo, was actually a part of their signature sound. And as contemporary singers, signature sound is what we are looking to develop. We want you to sound unique. We want you to be healthy. We want your voice to have sustainable efficiency. But we do want you to have a unique sound. We want to be able to identify, especially as if you are looking to be a vocational singer. We want to, create individuality around your vocal signature. And so we had these singers who were starting to come about, that all the recording labels were starting to push this, this high level vibrato. And so I have for, at least 10, 15 years, I have taught that vibrato is a good thing to have as a contemporary singer if you're able to develop it. In fact, we are going to have an exploratory exercise for vibrato in Voice Essentials 3. Stay tuned. But if I had to choose, I don't think I would want to have vibrato on all the time, for me personally. But I'm thinking about me for my own singing, and my own singing, oh gee, it's hard. I don't know that I can, because every time I go to say, no, I won't have vibrato, I find myself going, yeah, but anyway. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat section, everyone. What would you, this is Line of Judah's asking, what would you rather? Would you rather have straight tone all the time or vibrato all the time? You cannot have both. You've got to choose one. Fire it up into the chat section for me now. Lawrence is sort of asking a question along the same lines. Is vibrato forced or does it come naturally? No. Vibrato in many respects can't be forced. And this is the challenge of developing vibrato. It cannot be forced. Vibrato comes about and onsets into the sound by virtue of what we know to be free laryngeal musculature, even breath flow, and there continues to be some conjecture around this, but I think ones like Ingo Titzer and these people are starting to really identify that it is a combination of breath, muscle, and so no, certainly won't come about by virtue of any sort of forced thing. Just seeing Cockney's said here, I'd never want to forego my vibrato. No, neither would I. Cockney, I think I would want to. I'd want to be able to do both. The more choice I can have for my voice, the better, I think. Okay, I'm going to jump down here. And Matt last week was asking Jan, what is the one piece of advice you would give a singer as far as song selection, not just in talent shows, but in life in general? Matt, I'm glad we didn't ask Jan that question, because for those of you who watch the show, you would know why that might have been a dangerous thing to ask her. Who knows what she would have said. That could have been a bit scary. Arthur of Camelot today has said, Justin Stoney told me singing in a 50-50 mixed voice rather than a heavy raspy voice makes your pitch more spot on. Do you agree with this view? There's a lot of context, I guess, around that, which I'm sure Justin will have made a point of with you, Arthur. So I reckon it is going to be, it's probably, do you know what? I think probably, possibly, it's hard to know. And I think probably, I need to say, this is probably going to be something that is going to be per individual. Every individual will be different with this. But what tends to happen when it comes to pitch accuracy is certainly for the untrained singer, and I see this with students stepping into my studio all the time. With the untrained singer, the way they are achieving pitch accuracy, and it has to be said, I think for a lot of untrained singers, a lot of inexperienced singers, pitch accuracy is like, that's like seems to be the ultimate, thing that they're aiming for. It shouldn't be, but understandably it is. And to achieve that pitch accuracy, what a lot of voices do is they create a lot of extrinsic muscular structure and tension around the larynx to sort of secure the larynx and stabilize the larynx, so as they are singing their pitch, their intonation, then things are being held in place, and it's sort of, it certainly for a limited range, typically within the sweet spot, the prima voce of that person's range, will actually achieve that result. It will actually help with better pitch. The problem with that approach is that in achieving better pitch within the prima voce, with that amount of tension and stress, the moment you want to step outside that and you start moving into the extremes of your range, you start wanting to sing higher, that same tension that you have been using to benefit your pitch accuracy now starts to disadvantage your ability to move higher with accuracy. And so that tension now starts to hold the voice back, and we start to hear a lot of pitch inaccuracy, flat singing, the higher the voice wants to go. And so the funny thing about, in answering your question, Arthur of Camelot, love the moniker there, that actually a heavy voice within the prima voce may well give you better pitch accuracy. But I 100% agree with Justin. If you are wanting to develop your entire vocal range, and if you're wanting to be accurate across your range, then you need better balance in your voice. A mixed value of voice may be a good way to go about that. But of course, mixed voice, as I explained in the voice registration video, the new pre-record video that went live only a couple of weeks ago, you know, if you're wanting to develop your voice, you can't sing all the time in mixed. You do have to develop the registers in isolation. You need to be able to mix between the certainly the two middle registers, the lower register and upper register, and so I think, Arthur, I think where Justin would be coming from with this, I probably do agree with him, and I agree with Justin about a lot of things. Not everything, but I do agree with him about a number of things, and there you go. What have we got here? Cockney is asking, how do you sing from the diaphragm, please, Dr. Dan? Cockney, you have been watching this show for long enough to know better language than how do you sing from the diaphragm. Have I taught you nothing, Cockney? Come on! We don't sing from our diaphragm. There is a whole video on the channel, Cockney, about that. And you can go and have a watch of it. And it's... I need some water. I need to relieve myself. My throat, that is. What is the secret behind diaphragmatic breathing? Look, Cockney and everyone else who is watching, there is only one type of breathing in one respect, diaphragmatic breathing. You can only breathe using your diaphragm. If you don't have a diaphragm, you're in a lot of trouble. So all breathing is certainly all breathing is done by the diaphragm. As it descends down, it decreases the atmospheric pressure within your lungs, dragging air into your lungs, filling the alveoli, causing the expansion or the inflation of the lungs and the millions of little air sacs, and then as the diaphragm then starts to passively recoil, the elastic recoil of the diaphragm causes it to then increase the pressure within your lungs, causing the air to travel out, and we then interrupt that breath stream by bringing the vocal folds together, and it's that movement of air between the epithelium of the vocal folds that then causes some motion, and creates some motion, certainly creates some continuance of motion of the epithelium, which then gives us sound. The diaphragm, how do we sing from the diaphragm? Well, we don't. By virtue of we need the vocal folds to create thing. What we do need to learn to do is manage the air. Now, in fact, Dr. Matthew Edwards, who we've had on the channel here before, I'm hoping that we can have him again in the new year. He has recently, when I say recently, in the last couple of weeks, done a great blog post on the fact that you know, breathing is not the be-all and end-all of singing. It is a multi-step, interdependent system. You know, breathing is not the be-all and end-all of singing. I've got a new video that'll come out, a new big video that I'm going to release in the new year about breath management. But we certainly we're not going to suggest that, you know, if you fix your breathing and if you focus on your breathing, there's so many other things that are happening. Breath fuels the voice, but that's it. That's what it does. So yes, you do need to learn, in my opinion, you do need to learn how to manage your breathing. And also, in my humble opinion, you know, I know there are a lot of teachers out there that say, you know, just leave it to its own device, you know, you'll breathe naturally, it'll be fine. In my humble opinion, my observation is that a lot of bodies don't breathe well, you know, naturally. We do have to teach our bodies how to do things more efficiently. And breath is one of those things for many students. Not all students, but certainly in my observations are that students really benefit from, you know, isolating the breath, looking at it as a system, as one of the systems, and then plugging that back in and seeing that as a part of the whole. It's only one part. So, Cockney, go and watch the video. Maybe you're just teasing me. If that's the case, you got the rise out of me. Elizabeth, how does vomiting, great question. How does vomiting affect the vocal cords? When I am sick, I tear up my throat and there is blood on coughing afterwards. Elizabeth, that's not good. If there is blood in your coughing afterwards, I would want to have that checked. And I'll tell you why. Because when certainly vomiting, what we're doing is the process of the stomach contents is being ejected in the opposite way up the esophagus and out through the mouth. And vomiting can be a very important process to protect us from things like food poisoning and those sorts of things. You know what? I hate vomiting. I don't know, there's something in me that just, I will lie in bed and I will just like lie there and I shouldn't do this. I know I shouldn't do this, but I will lie there and just will myself not to, because I just hate anyway. But the impact of vomit is the acid on the rear of the vocal folds at the point of the vocal process and in the arytenoid cartilage. It will really inflame and can really wear and tear at the voice. And so someone who has been vomiting a lot, and this is why things like bulimia is so damaging to the voice, is because that constant flow of stomach acid, it's sort of like acid reflux on steroids. Like it really does damage the voice. Now, the reason, Elizabeth, why I said that I would be concerned about the blood is because what we can't know from the vomiting is the blood coming from your stomach? Is it coming from your esophagus? Is it coming from your vocal folds? I would be left really encouraging you to go to your GP, your family doctor, and talk to them about that. I would hope that your family doctor is then going to want to explore that further with a endocrinologist, someone who will want to go and have a look down the esophagus, check that out, check the lining of your stomach, make sure there's no stomach ulcers, esophageal ulcers, which can be very dangerous to your health. I would want to check in on that. So please, that's, you're asking, is there a way to prevent this? That is your line of process right there. That's where I want to direct you to. Please, Elizabeth, go and do that. And there you go. I think we've got no more questions coming in. And I think we're pretty much done anyway. We've done a good hour. Hey, thanks for hanging out, everyone. It has been a lot of fun. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. And as I said, no hangout next week. Let me quickly jump across here. I'm just going to jump in here. I'm going to have a quick look and just because I want to make sure I'm telling you exactly, you guys. Yes, our next hangout in 2 weeks will be with Jeff Ramsey. The week after that will be the live song review with Kathy, and then we've got we'll have another guest after that, and then we'll do more Q&A. I know that there's been quite a bit of chat around about, you know, on the, you know, when are we doing a new Q&A? Please remember that we, you know, this is time that we do, you know, that we are doing as a gift. So please let's not become demanding. Let's just allow the Q&As to happen when they happen. I hope you've enjoyed today's live hangout. Hit the thumbs up button if you have. And if you are new to the channel, I hope you've enjoyed the live hangout. Hit subscribe button, hit the white bell icon, and of course, as always, whenever you hear me end a live hangout or a pre-record video, you'll always hear me say, I'm Dr. Dan, sing well.